how you got into chiropractic. And
Well, I used to be a restaurant manager for a fast food joint, and I fell off. I was telling one of my employees to put up the special on the sign, on the big sign, and they weren't doing a good job. And I got frustrated, and I said, "Well, I got to do it myself." And I climbed up there, and I fell off. And when I landed, I guess I landed on my ribs. I couldn't breathe, and I'm screaming, yelling for someone to call 911. And one of the girls that worked for me, she would go to this old guy around the corner, and she's like, "Well, my chiropractor's right around the corner. I can call him to see if he'll see you." And I'm like, "Whatever, call." And she called, and the guy's like, "Oh, I'll wait for you." And it was about 6:37 p.m. So I'm like, "What kind of doctor will sit around, wait for one guy to come see him?" I'm like, "Okay," but I went. Very nice old guy. He got me out of pain almost immediately, and I kept seeing him. And I remember he would do these weird things, and he'd tell me, "You have a problem with your adrenal glands." I'm like, "What the hell is an adrenal gland? And how do you know? How could you possibly know?" And so, and I almost had a what would you call a religious experience. I remember sitting there. And I get emotional when I talk about this, because it's real, it's close to my heart. And I remember him. I remember just watching him work, and I thought to myself, I'm like, that would be the coolest job in the world. And I said I would. And I remember I was like, I would love to do that. And out of my body, I heard a voice that said, "Well, why don't you?" And it scared the hell out of me.
Wow.
And so I was very quiet. I managed to get out of the office without, saying anything. And back in those days, you had to go to the library to do any research. You couldn't. Yeah. We didn't have the internet. That was in the 94.
90s, yep.
So I went to the library, and I did my research. I found some schools that were within the radius of I was from Miami, within the radius, and applied, and I got accepted. And the next thing I know, I'm loading up a U-Haul to go, without just, because I knew that I had found something that I didn't know I was going to be good at it, but something that I had passion for.